Hi everyone. We are back again. I'm Tanglewist and this is John and we are with FJ Publishing. We have just had a fantastic weekend at Life, the Universe, and Everything Con in Provo, Utah.
Great weekend. Met a lot of wonderful people.
Hi Rebecca. Hi. Hi James. Hi Craig. Chris, Scott, other Scott.
Michael Brent.
Yep.
Dave Butler.
Yep.
Pretty much
other James.
Anybody who's been in the writing industry in and around Idaho or Salt Lake seemed to have made an appearance.
We even got to chat for a while with Tracy Hickman, so that was awesome.
It was great.
This week, we are doing a review of The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. I'm sorry we don't have a picture of the book. But
we both listened to it on audiobooks, so a very different feel from last week.
So what was your first impression of Black Prism?
Well, I really loved the book. The story was gripping. The setting was interesting, and for a fantasy, not very Tolkien-esque, which... Don't get me wrong, I love the Master. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings was the epitome of fantasy for a reason, but a lot of fantasy got too involved in that.
Okay.
And has made too much Tolkien-esque
it's gone too similar.
Exactly. Yeah. And the world that Brent Weeks has created in his Lightbringer series is unique and compelling. The magic system the magic in the world is all based on color and turning light into solid mass. And different colors bring about different effects and different levels of stability. It was really cool. I absolutely loved it. And so much so that I went out immediately and found the second book in the at my library, and got the third book for Christmas. So
that is really a testament. One of the things I really liked about the audiobook was that he actually included an interview that he did about writing the books and everything. That's not something that you usually get on an audiobook, but it gives you an opportunity to get to know the author itself, and that is actually really cool because we love all of the authors that we've met, and they're like, oh my god, that's like a real person. It's almost as if they were a real person.
I know, right? How weird is that?
Oh my god, especially like Tracy Hickman. Anyway, but the really cool thing about that is getting that insight into the creative process and learning that, hey, he went through like something really similar to what I go through or what you go through or what anybody else goes through. And that is very encouraging. It's very inspirational because we feel like we want to be able to succeed as writers, and actually being able to hear from someone who would be considered a successful writer. He's got at least a 3-book deal with a big 6 company.
That's his second series, so he's
he's making 6 figures in royalties.
Well, I don't know that that's
probably
accurate, but hopefully.
But in the end, it's nice to have that human connection.
Yeah. So since we both listened to it in an audiobook, that does bring in how it was read.
Right. Christopher Jean was the narrator. It was a single narrator piece.
I gotta say, I'm sorry, Christopher, you didn't nail it.
He tried to distinguish the main character's voice in a way that would be very interesting and extremely identifiable. And unfortunately, he went point break with it. There was so many times when both John and I, like John heard it first.
I listened to the book first and recommended it to her,
right?
Which is why she listened to it. And what I noticed was most of the characters in the narration was great. He did a good job conveying what was going on. He enunciated clearly. Gave unique voices to the cast, which is what you look for. Unfortunately, the main character is kind of the emperor of the world and pope at the same time.
Of the world.
Of the world. And the voice he gave was a little too Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, in Point Break, Bill and Ted.
Even The Matrix to an extent.
It was Surfer Dude. It was, you know, how do you usually do the Kip, no.
Exactly.
And
like, that's actually a quote from the book.
Yeah.
And
it is delivered like that. Kip, no.
You know,
and
I kept waiting for him to say dude. Now
every single time.
Everything else was great, though.
It was. He did a really good job with it, and you kind of were capable of ignoring it in light of the fact that it was such a good story.
It's true. Like I said, I went out and got the second and third books
pretty immediately
in order to continue the story. You know, like I said, the world, everything was so compelling. I just wish that he'd done a different voice for the main character.
You know, and you know he's going to repeat that for all of the books. I think
he has to at that point. He's already established it.
But you know, at the same time, it wasn't distracting enough.
All right,
to make us not get the book.
All right. So on a scale of conversations missed.
Oh, let me see. I think that I probably easily missed about 5 conversations, but it also engaged 2 conversations.
So leaving a net of 3?
So yeah, it's like a net of 3 conversations missed.
All right.
How many hours of sleep lost? You know, what AM were you up to for this?
Well, again, I was in the audiobook, so it was a different feel. I'm probably hitting about 4 conversations missed. Actually, 4 phone calls ignored.
4 phone calls ignored. Yeah.
Where I'm at. But in terms of sleep missed, I probably would have put it up at a midnight, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
You know, had I been reading it, I'm sure it might have gone into 2 a.m. You know, just the narration throwing me off a little bit.
Well, I gotta admit that I put it in, I was listening to it, and I was like kind of relaxing. And then I would wake up, and it's like, oh crap, this is still going on. And I nodded off. So I had to go back more than once.
Do you think that was the narration or the story?
It was just me being tired. No. Christopher had nothing to do with you. And Brent, it had nothing to do with you. It was just me. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that kicks my butt. So.
So on a traditional scale, I would give the book a 4 out of 5.
Right. And
the narration 2.5.
See, and I think I would definitely go with a 4 out of 5 for the quality of the book, and like a 3.5 for the narration, because everything was good about the narration except for that one part of that one voice, and it wasn't even all of the time. It's not like he left the character or he didn't keep the speech patterns.
But that was so distracting for me. That one voice, because he was such a prominent character. It pulled me out of the story more often than it let me in it.
And see, after I acknowledged it, it didn't really pull me out. So I was okay with it.
Right. Anyway, we had a great time at LTUE.
Thanks for inviting us.
And we loved Brent Weeks' The Black Prism, his Lightbringer series. The second book is the Blinding Knife.
I was going to say, it's going to be down in the comments.
Yes.
So you'll be able to find the books off the links on the comments.
Check them out on Amazon.com. Visit us at Fantastic Journeys Publishing on Facebook or at fjpublishing.com.
You wanted to do Gunslinger?
I think for our next book, we're going to do The Gunslinger by Stephen King, the first book in the Dark Tower series.
John has actually listened to that on audiobook, and I'm the one who's actually read the book specifically. So yeah, that time our roles are kind of going to be reversed in that.
Definitely. So. Anyway, if you have any other suggestions of books you want us to review, or have any comments about books we have reviewed, please check us out in the comments below.
And don't forget to subscribe.
We will love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks.